everybody, and welcome to the JS Dev Zone. This is a broadcast brought to you by the JS Foundation, and it's a monthly interview series highlighting some of the open source projects that are part of the JS Foundation, highlighting essentially the people and the actual projects themselves, how you can get involved, and how you can actually use them. I'm your host, Darcy Clark, an open source developer advocate, and I've been working in the JavaScript community for about 15 years. Today we're going to be talking to Anton from Sonar, our Sonar wall, and listening in and asking him some questions about the new project he started. So let's dive right into it. Anton, how about you give us a little intro and background on your involvement in the JavaScript community and how you got to where you are today?
Hi, Darcy. Well, my name is Anton. I'm from Spain. I'm currently working in Microsoft as a PM in the Microsoft Edge team. I think I've been involved with web development and JavaScript since I started being paid, and that's about 10 years from now ago. Yeah, my first gig was migrating a web app from i6 to the i8, and yeah, that was a really fun experience. And then since then it's been quite fun. I started helping people with performance and interop issues, and creating some demos also for the IE team and then Microsoft Edge, and then I finally joined the company 3 years ago. Now I'm part of the ecosystem team, driving all the online tools that we have in our website, dev.microsoftedge.com. So all the VMs, the remote testing tools, and everything. And for the last few months, I've been working on Sonar with some of my colleagues, and well, today we just open sourced it under the JS Foundation, so we are pretty excited about it.
Congrats! Yeah, that sounds awesome. So, can you tell us a little bit about Sonar and your involvement essentially in the project, sort of what you are contributing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So you can think of Sonar as a linting tool for the web. One of the greatest things about web development is that the barrier to create content is really low. You just need a web server, a text editor, and you're ready to go. But that can also be a problem, because actually creating good websites or becoming a good web developer is really complicated. You need to know about HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and also about many other things like responsive web design, accessibility, security, performance, all the differences that are across standards and different browsers. And well, the web is evolving so fast that you have to refresh that knowledge every few months. And we've been dealing with this for many years, and having a place with an up-to-date documentation, or having a tool that tells you if what you are doing is a best practice or not, is something that has been in the back of my mind for quite a long time. There are quite a few tools out there that do a really good job, but in very specific context. Like you have ESLint, which is awesome for JavaScript, and you also have new tools like REST image linter for responsive images, and also Axe for accessibility. But there are so many tools out there that I don't think that anyone knows about all of those. So we wanted to create this tool that could help developers write better code, following best practices, and also have like this tool to integrate all of these other smaller tools that do an awesome job at these specific things. Well, and just for the second part of your questions, what has been my involvement? I'm the tech lead of this project. Been working with some of my friends here, with Katalin Maris and Stephanie and David and Cheng. Yeah.
So this is primarily an effort by the Microsoft Edge Web Platform team. Is that correct to say, or
yeah.
It's a small?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
Well, yeah, Microsoft Edge and more specifically the web ecosystem team.
Awesome. So if there was to distill down to one goal of the project, what would you say the primary goal, or maybe even two goals or three goals of the project are?
We want to make the web work for everyone, not only for every browser, but also for any users. Like there are people that have disabilities or people that have like wonky connections that they don't have as much bandwidth as we have here in the States. So we want to make the web work for everyone. And we also want to make sure that developers are following best practices and they actually know what they are doing and they are taking informed decisions and deciding if these best practices apply to them or not. So we want also to educate them and teach them of why they should care about the different checks that Sonar performs.
Totally. Test the web forward. So, I mean, in terms of how everything got started, you sort of mentioned it before, but maybe you can speak to other tools that you even looked at in the ecosystem and saw maybe a gap or something that Sonar could fill.
Yeah, so I think that the project officially kickstarted, I think it was in January, February of this year. But as I said, it was in the back of my mind for quite a long time. I work in the development with Dave Medvin from the JS Foundation in the static scan tool that the old modern.ai website had. But I wasn't really happy with it. We hadn't done a good job maintaining and updating it. And well, I just wanted to make it better. I knew that we could do better and have more checks and give more information to the users about what things they could be doing. So that was kind of like the first thing that came in my mind. It's like after Christmas, I just thought to myself like that enough is enough. I need to do something about this tool. And then we started looking at other tools that are out there, see what they were doing, and well, we saw that if we wanted Sonar to be successfully in the future, and we need to do quite a few things. And one is not reinvent the wheel. If there is a tool that is already doing a great job at something, we should try to integrate with it and contribute back if it makes sense. And the other is that we need to be open source and community driven, because the web doesn't belong to one single company, and it's made by all of us, browser vendors, web experts, and developers.
Awesome. So why did you choose the JS Foundation to essentially contribute back Sonar to instead of potentially other foundations or the other places you could have attributed the project to?
Yeah, I think that was clearly in our mind since the first brainstorming. It's like this project is really ambitious. If we really want to cover all the areas that I mentioned earlier, like accessibility, security, performance, etc., we need the collaboration of everyone, like browser vendors and developers and anyone in the web community. And we could have just opt for open source it under the Microsoft Edge GitHub account, but I don't think that gave the right message to the community. We want Sonar to be community driven, so we thought that having a more neutral place was going to be better for everyone. And so we knew that it had to be a foundation. And well, the JS Foundation was actually our first option, and we were glad that they said yes. And the reasons why the JS Foundation was our first one, our first choice, there were several. It's like their mission resonates with what we want to do, and we have colleagues that work there and some others that have projects in there, like GDD with Lodash, Dave Medvin from jQuery, and now part of the JS Foundation. And basically anyone that we ask, they speak high volumes of the JS Foundation. So it seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah, that guidance and existing relationship, I'm sure helped make that decision easy. Where do you see the project in the next few years? What's the hope or aspiration far out?
So, well, basically, we would like to have more community engagement, people collaborating, the basic things of an open source, of an open source project. But I think that the most important goals that we have is to have other browser vendors engaging the conversations that we are having about the different rules and potentially contribute code to make sure that their browsers are supported by Sonar, and also integrate with as many of the other people, other tools that are out there. There are also some nice things that we want to do is create plugins for the different editors that are out there, like Visual Studio Code, and also have an online service. So you don't have to actually install anything. You can just type the URL that you want to scan and you will get a report. And the reason that we want to cover those two things is because we want Sonar to be helpful during all the development process. There are some things that if you left to the end, it's a recipe for disaster. For example, accessibility. If you are just going to start thinking about it when you are almost done, then you are sure that you are going to get it bad. And we believe that having hints that while you are typing, that some of the things that you are doing might not be accessible, I think that that's a powerful feature. And then in the other spectrum is the online scanner. And there are some cool things that we want to do in there. It's like having historics on how the websites are evolving, how the web is doing in certain areas, how it has evolved during the last, I don't know, maybe 3-6 months kind of thing, and then make that data available to everyone so it can be reused.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that the definitely real-time feedback and especially those analytics over time will be super helpful for the community. And hopefully, obviously, you get some contributions back from the community, especially going the route you have and joining the JS Foundation.
Yeah, it's funny because we have eBay is already contributing, and we just open source today, and we already have like 2 or 3 pull requests. So yeah, things are looking good.
Awesome. So why do you think Microsoft made sort of this investment, or why do you think that they're investing in Sonar specifically, or this effort to sort of test the web forward?
Well, as I said at the beginning, sometimes developers don't know if the advice that they are following are best practices or not. I mean, blog posts and answers in Stack Overflow sometimes are a bit outdated. And we can make the browser as awesome as we can, but developers also need to do their part and make sure that what they are doing is actually the best. So we expect with this tool to reach to a big number of developers and actually make their code better, and that will make all browsers to perform better in their website. So we want to get rid of some of the bad practices that we've been seeing during these last few years and actually make developers' life easier too.
Great. So what do you think developers should know about the project, or how do you think they can either get involved or get started with the project?
Well, the first thing will be to go to our GitHub repo. It's github.com/sonarwall, and visit also our website, sonarwall.com.
Awesome. And actually, to install it, how easily is that done?
Oh, well, we already have a package published in NPM. The instructions are in the front page of the main website and the README of the GitHub repo. So it will be npm install-g at sonarwall/sonar.
Awesome. Great. And in terms of this, in terms of this being sort of an extra tool for something like ESLint, can you see in the future, these two projects working together somehow?
Yes, it's one of the things that we don't want to do is reinvent the wheel. So if there is a tool that does a great job, we will have to use it. Right now, the rules that we have in Sonar are more focused around security around headers or headers that are coming from the server, some checks with HTML, with accessibility, and bad practices that are there. But we want to add new rules around CSS and JavaScript and things like that. So for that, we're thinking about probably using ESLint to use the parsing, and then the rules that make sense to contribute them back and just have don't do extra work. The thing that right now is preventing us from doing that is that we need to think careful, because the code that you are writing in your development mode is not the same that is going to be published. It's going to be minified and uglified and all of that. So we need to think carefully exactly what rules make sense for us in our specific use case.
Totally. Cool. So I've heard that you may or may not have a little mascot that is, following you around in this project. Could you tell us a bit about who Nelly is?
Yeah, so Nelly the narwhal is our mascot. Fun thing is that when we first pitched the idea to my colleagues in the team, I think it was a Friday, probably.
Couple drinks on a Friday, or?
Yeah, yeah. And Stephanie is a designer and a web developer here. She loves whales. And yeah, we're thinking out the name, and well, maybe we could use sonar or something like that. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome to have a narwhal? But do narwhals have sonars? I mean, we knew about the beluga whales and all of that. So we did a quick search, and it looks like the narwhals are one of the best echolocation sonars, one of the best sonar systems in the nature. And so yeah, it was decided we had an narwhal. And then by Monday, we already have, like, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 different narwhal designs from Stephanie, and she got to choose the one and name it. But yeah, I think that even before we had any single line of code, we already have the mascot.
That's awesome. It's perfect fit.
Yeah, Stephanie is pretty awesome to work with.
That's great. That's awesome. So, well, thanks for taking some time today, Anton, and talking to us about Sonar. And hopefully we'll see more from you and the team in the future. And definitely appreciate the contribution back to the open source community. I know we all appreciate that hard work. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Okay.